Well, hi everyone. This is Carrie Beck with How to Homeschool My Child, and I'm at my grandkids' house and they're taking naps, so I'm trying to keep it a little bit quiet. But I do want to talk to you a little bit about homeschooling multiple kids. If you are joining us, maybe you could just leave a comment in the comment sections about how many kids you're homeschooling at this time. That might help me prepare from now to the next 4 or 5 weeks and how we can make sure we really hit topics. And if there's a topic that you are really concerned about, leave it in the comment section, whether you're listening to the live or whether you're listening to the replay. That would be super helpful to me. So, today what I want to talk about is a strategy that I think is one that you can use across the board, any subject area, no matter how many kids you have. So it's not like the answer to everything, but it can truly help you, I think, in a lot of ways. And it's something that I call notebooking. I did not come up with the term, but let me just tell you a little bit about it. I will tell you, when we took our kids out of school, one of the things I wanted to get rid of was all the busy work. It was just like activities that really wasn't helping any education. It was just a lot of busy work, basically. So I wanted to look for things that were more intentional so the kids could actually get things that were in their head that they were learning down on paper. I was tired of some of the worksheets that weren't really, they were, actually a lot of that activities just has been around the last 50 or 60 years, if we're really honest. But, I wanted to get rid of some of that stuff and I wanted more purposeful, intentional education. One thing I discovered is when I fell into notebooking, not only was it improving or making us think about what we were learning, it was saving me time because I didn't have a whole bunch of lesson plans for every single subject in every single grade. It was saving money because I wasn't having to buy everything in every single subject. It also saved a lot of frustration as well. I've posted a few blog posts, and you might go through and look at some of them. You can look at the topic notebooking here in the group, and it'll give you some more things that you can consider. But one thing I really like about notebooking is you can choose a topic to study altogether. For instance, our family studied history together. Now, we would read out loud together, but each of the kids was reading on their level, and they were learning at their level because they were all at different places. So we could all be studying one topic. That helped me simplify my homeschool. That helped me reduce the stress in my homeschool as well. So each child could record at their level. They could read their own book and then write about that book in their notebook. They could record afterwards. If we read aloud and I wanted them to record what they remembered, they could record it in their own words. That writing is just thinking on paper, and notebooking is basically what that is. I'm going to show you some examples in a minute that we have, but let me just tell you, well, no, let's just go ahead and look at some examples. Now, these are not my own. These were a friend because, it's been a while and we don't have some of ours. But, some of this, you can just use some colored paper, have your kids write a topic, and then fill in whatever information they want. That's a fun little way to do it. This one is just this one I think is full sheet. So there's some fun ways that you can do it. You can print out pictures of people that you're studying and then let your kids actually write about it. Maybe you're studying some countries and you could put the flag there and let them write about it. Or there's a map and they could actually record and label the different map and the areas like this. This is the 13 colonies. Again, you could have them print out the colonies and then label all of this. I wouldn't give them one that's already pre-labeled. I'd have them do that themselves. And then this allows you to let them write something about each one of those colonies as well. So another thing you could do are just some columns. These are different events that you may have studied, and then let them do it. You don't even have to have prepackaged things. You could just draw a line and let them write the stuff in there as well. So that's a really an easy way to do it in just these little journal notebooks. This one's been covered with some paper. This is my daughter Gentry's Bible one. We were studying godly women for about 2 or 3 years. We were going through different attributes of Proverbs 31, and we were using an actual curriculum, but we were making a notebook. My kids also did this with history, and we had tabs down the side for each of the different time periods, and every time they would do something we wanted to keep, we would put it here in this as well. But this was like they were working on writing verses. So here's a verse that she wrote, and we probably memorized it at the same time. Here is a form. Daughters in the Bible, and as we study different daughters, Ruth, Miriam, Rebecca, we would write information about that particular one. I'm going to skip over more Bible verses. Let's see what we have here. Another Bible verse. And then this was on friendship. So then we looked at a bunch of different verses, and we just wrote them all down. Here's a journal of excuses. I didn't know that was in there, but that's sort of fun. So let me just skip to the back and show you another thing we did that I really enjoyed reading recently, and it's her prayer notebook. So she has some prayer requests for our family, and then, and this is thanks. So we just did some fun little things that we could do. Here's her Monday prayer list, her Tuesday prayer list, and on and on. And so that was, I thought, really interesting. It's fun to sort of look back at that. There was something at the end. Anyway, so that's just a fun way. You can record things that you are learning. She was learning about the Bible. I have another friend, Richie, who you see in and out of this group. She says they even write down things about math, so their kids will maybe take notes, and if they've forgotten how to do some kind of math, they can go to their notebook and keep that as well. So anyway, I think that's good. Hey, Joni, glad you're here. 2 kids. And I am sorry, Facebook used to tell you when people were here, so now you have to go up and down the screen. But I'm glad you're here. If you have any questions, let me know. I'd love to answer them. What are some benefits of notebooking? It engages your child in learning. It requires them to get this down on paper. We are no longer dependent on having to find just the perfect curriculum. I love this, directed learning. In other words, we get to choose the topic. Let your kids choose a topic they're interested in, and then create a notebook about what they learn about that. Right now, springtime, if you're gardening, you could keep an entire garden notebook as well. And I guess I'm not home, so I couldn't just go grab everything. But, we have some nature notebooks that we have done as well, and I'll tell you a little bit more about those in a minute. We don't need prepackaged answers or anything. I love this because language arts is completely interwoven into notebooking. You will automatically get your grammar, your spelling, your writing, all of those skills are intertwined into notebooking. I think too, as your kids progress in notebooking, they will become more confident in their writing, hopefully without tears. It provides you a chance to document your learning over the years, and they're a great review tool. So if you're studying and then you want to review what you've studied, you want your kids to tell you, they can go back and look at their notebook. They are a good keepsake as well. And like I said, we've already given a lot away, but and it also builds skills for lifelong learning. If you have heard me at all, I believe it is so important that we raise our kids to love learning and become lifelong learners. If they know how to record what's here in their mind, then they can learn anything, and we can teach them those skills of learning. How do we get started? It's super simple. You're going to get some sort of binder like this, or binding tool. You can even use one that's already bound up. You'll need some paper. Get your favorite arts and crafts supplies and a bunch of writing utensils, and you are set. I mean, seriously, it is that simple. And then to dig in. Now, what kinds of things could you include in your notebook? This is just the tip of the iceberg. I've got a list. It could be written narrations from the books that your kids have read or they have studied, from real life experiences. Narration is just telling back what they read, telling back what happened, telling back what they learned from a lecture. It's just a retelling. A collection of quotes. That was another thing we would do if the kids have a quote. I guess I should have my journal in here. I will keep quotes in my journal as well. Quotes from philosophers, experts, missionaries, statesmen. You might keep photographs if you go on a field trip that goes along with that. Ticket stubs, things like that. Maps of places and events studied, like I was showing you the 13 colonies. Timelines. That was something we did each time we were studying history. We were keeping a timeline. If you were studying Holy Week at Jesus, back before Easter, you could have kept a timeline of all the events that you were learning along the way. And your kids would create the timeline. You wouldn't create the timeline and write it down for them. They are creating their own timeline. You might have sketches of objects that they're studying, maybe animals, famous artists. You might re-sketch a famous painting or a famous drawing. Collection. Now, this is what we did with our nature, I call them nature journals, but they could be nature notebooks. We would have collections, leaves, like inside my kids' notebooks, and I will bring some next week when I'm back home. They would glue a leaf maybe that they found and they would write about it, or maybe they would draw a copy of it there as well. And so you could do pictures from hands-on activities or experiments. It could be a science notebook where you actually do an experiment page, tell what your hypothesis is, what you did, what happened, and whatever conclusion you are. Those are notebooks, super easy. Nature photos, sketches, journal, and then hand your child's handwritten copies of maybe like this, favorite scripture, poetry, and selections. So this is from Gentry, and I even wrote, this is beautiful, John 15:16. Let's just say, this is her handwriting back then. Great, watch your spelling, So I didn't do a lot of grading in here. I mean, if there was a correction, if it was good, it was good enough. And if it wasn't, she needed to redo it. But anyway, these were just a lot of the verses that we did. So this is a keepsake for her prayer journal and her verses. So those are just a few ideas. If other people have other ideas, please leave a comment, whether you're listening to the live or whether you're listening to the replay. I do have a resource that will get you started. It is free. 3,000 notebooking pages, and they are categories. So you've got, like right now, springtime, trees, plants, flowers, weeds, I think. There are some oceans, there's different science, there's some history, there are famous people, there are holidays, like you could get the one for Easter, even though we're finished with it. They have one for Veterans Day, so you may be able to tie some of the Veterans Day in with Memorial Day and 4th of July. But those are free, and those would be a great place for you to get started and just dip your toe into notebooking. Why? Because notebooking you can use with all your kids at the same time. You don't have to be going through this book at first grade and this book at third grade and this one, and they're all studying different things. That's one of the things I'll be talking about next week, is actually combining your kids so we are all studying similar topics. And I'll talk about all the different subjects that we study together. All right, it really wasn't until high school that we started to separate some of those. And even then, Hunter was in 9th grade, Gentry was in 12th grade. They were studying the same topic. Same time period as well. So I forgot, in the description, you can get these free notebooking pages, howtohomeschoolmychild.com/free notebooking. You can go there, sign up, they will send them to you, and you will have access to it. Isn't that great? Now, I do have to tell you, tomorrow there is a gigantic notebooking giveaway, over $4,000 worth of prizes. I will send the link out in our email and I will post it here. It starts at 9 a.m. Eastern time, goes till I think 9 o'clock night. It's just one day. And there are over 20 winners. You could actually win a lifetime membership to Notebooking Pages. And I will just tell you, this is the notebooking week. Because on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, if this is something that you are truly interested in, you can get a notebooking lifetime membership to this and save $50 this week only. And you don't ever have to renew or anything. So I'll be sending that information out, and I have a special bonus for you, a little gift if you decide to do that as well. That is all I have for today. Oh, we got more people. Hey, Nikki, 4 kids. And Jen, thank you for coming. 3 kids. Okay, this is good to know. And thank you for your ages. It sort of helps me to think through, especially next week. The notebooking, I think, applies to all ages. Even my high school kids, they kept a notebook about things that they were learning. By then, they sort of already knew how to do it. You might call it a journal. That would be another thing. They kept a reading journal, too. Every day, they wrote 1 page in their reading journal. But that helps me sort of see what ages we're working with. And next week, I will be talking about just tips on you as the teacher. This is a strategy notebooking that you can use. I'm going to give you some more ideas on you teaching and sort of balancing everything out. And then the rest of the time, we'll be talking about how do you choose the different things that we do with little kids and middle kids and big kids as we get closer, especially as you're planning for next year and buying new resources. So thanks for spending time with me. Again, go grab those 3,000 free notebooking pages. Even if you only use 20 of them, it would be worth it because it's completely free. Hey, I'll talk to you later. I'm Carrie Beck with How to Homeschool My Child. Talk to y'all later.